This is Kelly Dabach, Executive Business Coach, helping healthcare professionals blaze their own path and become CEO of their own business. I'm here today on the topic of confidence. We all know that there has been a tremendous amount of movement in all industries, but specifically in healthcare, as real, tangible effects come through between the pandemic, staffing shortages, supply chain issues, amongst burnout, critical overwhelm, and self-confidence. Jobs have been moving. And so when we think about what people are doing as a result, it comes to a point of opportunity, right? A point for growth. And with any change and with growth comes the topic of self-confidence. You've landed a job, or you're considering landing a job, or perhaps you're even considering starting your own business. Well, I want to tackle and suggest a few ways to build self-confidence in the midst of a career change. When I look at the course of my career over the past 16 years, I was so many times the youngest in the boardroom, the youngest in the table, the youngest in the field, the youngest calling on my doctors, case managers, nurses, nurse practitioners in the healthcare field. And so I had to find a way to embody the confidence that it took to build multiple businesses over my 16-year career in corporate healthcare. And now as an entrepreneur, helping others build their own empire and their own brand. And when I think about what was one true characteristic of the confidence that I carried and I continued to embody over the course of my career, it is trust in myself. And not only in myself as an executive or as an employee or as a dietitian, but in my trust in my ability to learn. And that is truly a mindset that will allow you to tackle any experience, any position, or any authority that you have that you're interested in becoming. So let's move into it. When we think about self-confidence, it's important to know, what are the real challenges? What are the statistics? Well, 75% of professionals report having self-confidence or experience imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome shows up as an experience that you applied for a job. Maybe you don't have a ton of experience, especially right now where people are hiring more for cultural fit, alignment in values, but you know that you're supposed to embody this job to meet the goals. So it has a huge opportunity to align and build confidence in your ability to grow and experience new things. And also, self-confidence is the best weapon against fear. We know that all changes come with some degree of fear because our minds want to project things that we've done before, the predictability, the comfort zone. And all good things, all of our dreams are on the other side of the unknown abyss. So the ability to get from point A to point B is the ability to build your self-confidence. And of course, we all know that research has shown self-confidence is directly correlated with living a happier and more fulfilled life. So self-confidence is actually a belief that one is capable of successfully completing a task or a demand. When you put that in a correlation of a job description, a job title, a role, that really comes down to your trust in yourself. And how do you build trust externally? Think about it. You have communication with others. Others keep true with their promises. You can feel the alignment and the honesty in someone else's words. And so it's important when you think about trust and building trust in yourself that you think about it in, how you trust someone else, because it's the same practices. So the first thing that we're starting with on the topic of trust is to strengthen your word. And so many of us, myself included, over the years have done things and made false promises just to please someone else. But that is really building a catastrophic pattern to build any self-confidence in yourself and your ability to follow through. So if you say you're going to do something, do it. Pay close attention to the promises that you make and the relationships that you keep. See, your mind doesn't know the difference between I am going to do something for myself or, yes, Susie, I will attend that dinner on Friday night when the whole time you plan to cancel. And so the more times that you put out a false word and you break an agreement, no matter what the agreement, you break and lessen the trust within yourself. So it's critically important to begin to practice your word. And if you don't want to do something, continue to understand and realize that every time you don't make a false promise, you are actually building trust within yourself, which will ultimately lead to self-confidence. Step number 1. Step number 2, set SMART goals. So for many of you, how many of you were like hired or told, once you get in here, we're going to have meetings and we're going to double our growth, triple our revenue, cut attrition in half, change the culture, all of these things that sound really great, but all of these things that can become overwhelming when you haven't even met perhaps the person you're reporting to or your coworkers or your employees if you're a manager. So if you don't set realistic expectations, you will burn out or be shut out, period. Remember, SMART goals is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So let's talk about a few examples. If you are someone that you're just starting a new career, new job, start with something like you want to build positive working relationships with your colleagues, build trusting relationships. How would you turn that into a SMART goal? A SMART goal would be set 4 meetings with colleagues this week. So you have specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Let's look at another one. What if you were learning, your overall arching goal was learning to do your job with confidence? How would you do that? Learn and practice 3 items on your job description within the first month. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. What about setting up an organizational structure to your week? Sounds good, right? I'm going to schedule. I'm going to time block. I'm going to remain committed to the promises I made last week. So if you're looking at building trust within yourself, how do you tactfully do that? Well, you set aside time every Friday at 3:00 to time block your week for the following week. So that is an example of SMART goals. And the purpose of SMART goals is not to create an overwhelm for things that are a year out from now, but it's a way to create realistic expectations because achievement is one of the most critical motivators in employee and also employer retention and job satisfaction. So it's really important to feel achievement towards realistic goals, and it is failure towards unrealistic goals. Tip number 3, become the identity of who first. So we talked just in the prior slide about setting realistic goals. But in order to establish those goals, you need to be looking through the lens of who. So rather than starting with the result or the outcome as the focus, start by looking at the habits of the identity of who you wish to become and allowing yourself to get rid of the measurable goals until you have the mindset of that identity will allow you to be more successful more quickly. This strategy actually came from a book that I'm reading called Atomic Habits. And so it focuses on how that identity considers the outcome of who they want to be as opposed to just focusing on the goals, because it's really the difference between achieving a goal and transformation. And for example, consider becoming a runner versus training for a marathon. Your focus becomes progress, training, daily habits, and long-term lifestyle instead of the training event 6 months from now or 4 months from now, where you may do the bare minimum to get by. You don't really create it to embed your entire lifestyle, you're focused on the outcome. Let's take another one. Consider becoming a CEO versus just opening a business. The focus becomes the long term, right? The processes, the systems, the foundation, and scale versus just focusing on the launch or the first day. You're just focused on the launch or opening a business, hiring an employee. All of those milestones are great, but they're short term. And if you aren't looking past that and looking to embody the actual identity of who you want to become, those goals will feel like starting over every single time. One more. So think about being a fit and healthy human versus losing 20 pounds. This is probably not unfamiliar to any single one of us, but your focus and the first is sustainable habits, feeling good in your body, comprised of daily routines, conscious choices, and really deciding, is what I'm doing right now helpful to becoming a fit and healthy human, or is it non-sustainable and just that I'm trying to lose weight? Because if it's focused on if you're trying to lose weight, there's minimal likelihood that you're going to continue to do it after you reach that goal weight on the scale. All right, so the next one, tip number 4, understand and honor your values. Values change. So I remember when I did my first values assessment a couple of years ago, I recently pulled that out and I did a values assessment just about a month ago. And I realized like a tremendous shift in values. And so while I had some periods and some, what I would say, confusion or lack of clarity, a lot of times that can happen because you're not living your values right now in who you are right now. You could be living values that used to be important to you or values that you believe will become more important to you. But values change, and so it's really important. And I'll drop a link to a free values assessment through the Barrett Center to get to know who you are and honor where you are right now and who that is. Who you are and what you hold dear, what upsets you. These are all of the what underlies how we make decisions, and they're all connected. It's all determined based on the success of making successful decisions is based on understanding your values and how much in alignment your actions are. When there's misalignment in your values, you feel stress and anxiety because you're not being true to yourself. Again, remember going back to that trust. Being out of alignment absolutely causes suffering in life. All right, number 5. I could have done this on a top 4 tips to radiate confidence in the midst of a career change, but I will always add establish and practice a morning routine because it is literally transformational in your life, but also consistency and building that foundation to make it a true lifestyle identity or a true lifestyle practice is incredible. And so if you've studied any number of the most successful people like Oprah, Michael Jordan, nearly all of the billionaires, icons, and world-class performers interviewed in the book, Tools of Titans, all of them have some form of a morning routine. And I've chose to just outline a few of the most impactful areas to focus on your morning routine. So there's the physical, which is a lot of times movement or exercise. Emotional, which can mean just paying attention to what feelings that you're feeling and actually practicing self-acceptance, because we all know that we are more than our feelings. So it's really distancing yourself and recognizing that the emotions are part of you, not who you are. Mental, which could be journaling, reading, learning new things, and spiritual, which is prayer, meditation, practicing forgiveness, love. All 4 of them combined is, wow, a 5-star morning routine. So I hope this gives you a few tangible, actionable ways to build your self-confidence if you're moving into a career change. And I'd love to hear from you and what that career change may be for. And if you are one of the 5% of healthcare professionals that are looking to go out on your own as opposed to changing careers or changing employers, then I'd love to chat with you and learn more about how you build and embody trust within yourself. Self-alignment is really what's going to get you to the best and most authentic version of yourself. And it's also going to allow you to fulfill and have the most happiness and joy in your life. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I will be back next week with another topic. Namaste.